Hello, everyone. This is my ethical dilemma. It's simple because who wants to read a lot of words on a poster board? So let me kind of explain what my ethical dilemma is all about. It's pretty much about moving a client within a family system into working with them as an individual. And so there is a mom and a dad and their 16-year-old son who have been going to family therapy, and the parents are satisfied with the outcomes of, um, of family therapy. However, the 16-year-old son wants to continue in individual therapy with that same therapist. So, would I, as a therapist, continue on in counseling a 16-year-old following family therapy? So, um, yeah, I use the relational model. I'm not going to go through all of the specific steps that I used because that's what my paper is for. Um, and so here is the dilemma. Is it ethical to counsel someone individually who you have also counseled in family therapy? So, some of the pros: as a 16-year-old, they are able to consent to their own therapy because they are older than 12 years old. This client has already built trust with the therapist. And so they are able to kind of utilize that relationship. And as we know, the therapist client relationship is so important, the most important component to therapy being successful. And it was also the parents' choice to terminate the family therapy, and they felt confident in what had been accomplished. And yeah, some of the cons that it might appear to be a dual relationship, working with someone within a system context and then moving into an individual context. And so, would that cause some discrepancies in um, the relationship, or in knowing information that they wouldn't otherwise know. And so, yeah, this one is pretty simple. Sorry to not have it more complex, but there actually is a code in the Code of Ethics. It's A6D, and it says, when counselors change a role from the original or most recent contracted relationship, they obtain informed consent from the client and explain the client's right to refuse services related to the change. So this one is pretty clear that as long as you have a different informed consent process with this new therapy, then you are able to kind of move into this new relationship with this client. So there are different expectations and different values and different protocols within individual therapy over family therapy. And so that needs to be explained and identified at the start of therapy. So here is the conclusion that I drew, that it is ethical to continue therapy with this client in individual therapy as long as the therapist walks through a new informed consent that distinguishes the differences between family therapy and individual therapy. I think the fact that this 16-year-old client sees the value in having continued therapy, and they see that there is still work to be done. I think that this is a huge thing for a 16-year-old boy to admit, and that there is value in continuing on this relationship. And yes, it might become a little unclear in certain capacities, but I think that overall the most important thing is that client therapist relationship. And because there has been so much growth and trust built between the therapist and this client, that it is ethical to continue on in this different role. So the dual relationship, I don't think is valid, because that would be made clear from the beginning that it's not an external role such as a teacher or a family friend or something like that, but that it is still a counselor role, and it will look different from a family system capacity to an individual capacity, and especially since the parents are satisfied with their own personal growth in the family therapy. It's not going behind their back to have this new relationship with the son. So I think it's written pretty clearly in the ACA Code of Ethics that this is ethical to continue on in this relationship with this client. So sorry I got an easy one, guys. And hopefully you agree with me. But yeah, that's it.